You know that client you have who you're convinced there's no way they're gonna pay what you're worth? That client who you know is going to beat you up, but no matter what happens, they're never, ever gonna be able to afford what you wanna charge. What if I told you that price matters most when the seller believes price matters most? 1991, before I started any of my businesses, I was working for this mainframe-based company. I got assigned our largest commercial account. These guys were spending $1.5 million a year just on maintenance and support for our products. So I'm strutting around the office, feeling pretty good about getting this account. A month into it, Steve, who's the vice president for this client, calls me up. He says, Ian, listen, we've got these 300 images. They're like schematic diagrams. And every quarter we have these images we need to put up on the mainframe. Can you guys do it? Well, I said, of course we can. Not because I knew we could, but because I was a sales guy and I didn't want to risk losing the deal. So I said, sure, Steve, just send the tape over, because that's how we got images back then. There was no Dropbox. There was no Google Drive. We got a tape. So we get the tape, I send it off to engineering. The head of engineering, Jerry, calls me up and says, hey, come down to my office. Now, this had never happened before, so I'm a little bit concerned, but I'm thinking, okay, how bad can it be? I get down to his office, and the VP of sales is sitting there with him. Jerry, the head of engineering, says to me, look, I know the client wants to convert these 300 images, and we can do it, but it's gonna be really expensive. In fact, it's gonna cost about $1,000 per image to convert the 300 images. I'm thinking to myself, oh no, this is as bad as it can get. It can't possibly get worse than this. The VP of sales, Bill, chimes in and says, that's our internal cost. It's actually gonna cost the client $500,000. So I conclude two things right away. One, you can't deliver news like this over the phone. And two, I should probably start working on my resume. Because when I give them this news, I'm gonna be looking for a job. I come in the next morning, have this great epiphany. I'm like, wait, I got it. So I call up Steve. I said, Steve, listen, we don't really know each other that well. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna fly out to you first thing Tuesday morning. We're gonna go play golf, have a great dinner. The next day, we'll talk business. And you're probably wondering, well, why did I do that? Was he trying to build rapport? Was he trying to soften him up? Maybe get him drunk? These are all good ideas, but the reality is I was in my early 20s and I'm just thinking, man, if I'm getting fired on Wednesday, I'm having one hell of a Tuesday. So of course, Wednesday comes, I got my meeting at 8 a.m., I get there at 7:45. Well, and of course, Steve's waiting for me in the lobby. This is a Fortune 50 company. And he says to me, so Ian, do you have a solution for these images? And I was petrified to talk about this project and what it was going to cost. Because I believe, as the seller, that price matters most. Steve says, oh, we never talked about it. See, our competitors overseas use the same distributors as we do. They've all moved to a PC-based system, so they're sending out CD-ROMs. We, on the other hand, are printing paper and sending it out and manually inserting them into notebooks, and we're losing a month on these people. And we've calculated that we're losing $30 million a quarter in lost business. Now keep in mind, 12 seconds before that, I was looking to run out the room. I've got good news. It's only gonna cost $500,000 to do this. Steve says, do you have a contract with you? I said, Steve, that would have been awfully presumptuous. We didn't know each other until yesterday, but I can fax you one tomorrow. But remember, I was petrified. I didn't even bring the contract with me because I thought that price matters most. And I'll lay out the formula for how you can capture information in your meetings so you never end up in the same situation that I was in.